What's up, Ben Samulak TV? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking time to check out the video. Today, I'm talking about the New Jerusalem and is it a portal of God, a portal to heaven on earth? As you look at the prophecies, if you look at Revelation and the end times, you'll see that we go to 1,000 years to reign with the Lord, and then it then comes the judgment of the devil. He was released after 1,000 years from the pit. And I did a video on Revelation if you want to watch it. I'm not going to get into detail. And this is going to be a very short video. I just want to throw out an idea. I'm going to do more research on this and get more into it. But I just want to throw out the thought I had just to see what you guys think that that the New Jerusalem could be a portal. So a lot of people think we're going to go to heaven, which we are. We are going to go to heaven forever. But on the other hand, if you look at Revelation, if you look at even the Father's prayer, it says, "Your will be done, your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven." The Lord has created this earth for a purpose. He wants his kingdom on this earth. He even told the Jews, you're going to have this land forever. So Jerusalem is an eternal location for God's people and God's kingdom. That's where he's going to establish his kingdom, and also the New Jerusalem, which after the 1,000 years, okay, so there's Armageddon, the Satan's locked up for 1,000 years. There's 1,000 years where we're reigning with Christ in the heavens, and the nations are living on the earth. But then the devil is released after 1,000 years from the pit. He deceives the nations one last time, and the Lord wipes out the devil for good, as well as any last rebellion against him. And then that's when the New Jerusalem comes out of heaven to earth. Behold, the New Jerusalem descends from heaven. And this New Jerusalem in type is the church. It's the bride of Christ. It's the people. It's us. Think about it. We today are portals to heaven. We have the Holy Spirit living within us. We have a piece of heaven. Now, Christ is seated at the right hand of God. It said we are seated at the right hand. We are seated with Christ in the heavens. Christ is in the heavens, but the Holy Spirit, God, is also living within us. You can't separate them. The Trinity is separate, but they're also one. So in that sense, God is here on earth today. So heaven, if he's in the heavens, then part of heaven is here today. So we connect, just like Jacob's dream. There's a ladder from heaven to earth, and the angels were ascending and ascending. This is the connecting of heaven and earth through the spirit of man. Now, Jesus was the first God man. He was the first man who was God, 100% God. And he, what did it say? The word tabernacled among men. So in the Old Testament, the tabernacle was where God dwelled among men. His Shekinah glory would come down. He would abide with man on the earth. And so you could say that the tabernacle was a figure of heaven on earth, because God dwelled there. And God's in the heaven and he's on the earth. So it's almost like when God comes, heaven comes with him. Then he came as a man. So that temple became, we became the temple of God. We are a temple of God. So he was the firstborn, the Bible says. But then it also says, it says he was the only begotten. But then it also says he was the firstborn among many brothers. So we are also his brothers. We receive the divine nature. We receive the Spirit of God. He who is joined to the Lord is one spirit. So now we, just like Jesus, he was a prototype. We have become his species. We have become also a portal of heaven on earth. So when you see a human being, a Christian, they can express heaven to you. The Lord said, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So in that sense, he wants as on earth to be as it is in heaven. And how does that happen? It comes through Christians, through us, through our spirit, he can manifest himself through us now, and heaven can be expressed today, a foretaste of heaven. So we are now the tabernacles. Jesus was the tabernacle of God on earth, and we are we're his temple. The church is the house of the living God. And then eventually we are the bride. The bride goes to heaven because the bride is going to be raptured for 1,000 years during that 1,000-year millennial kingdom, when something's going on the earth, and there's also 1,000 years of outer darkness. But then after the 1,000-year reign, the bride comes down to wipe out the devil with Jesus. They come together as an army, and they wipe out the devil together, the spirit and the bride. And then the Lord creates a new heaven and a new earth, and he sets up his New Jerusalem on the earth. Now, this is the Christians all together are going to be the Lord's house. We are going to be the New Jerusalem. So it is a figure, a type of symbol, but I do believe that the New Jerusalem is going to be physical as well. And people wonder how, there are all the dimensions. And when I think of dimensions, I think of, it's so specific that I do believe that on the earth, this is my thought, my inspiration is that will be a portal. So when people come to the New Jerusalem, the nations, because the nations will still be out there, they're going to get healing from the tree of life's leaves. So they're going to be those like us who are God's species. We received his life and nature. We are going to be his expression on the earth, his home, his tabernacle. There is no temple, I think it said, or no holy holies, because he is the temple. So we mingled with God are going to be his expression on the earth in his New Jerusalem, his city, his temple. Now, how can all those Christians from time and space fit in that space? And the dimensions are very interesting, almost to me like it is a portal. And this is interesting too, because the devil is always trying to copy God. Just like in the beginning, he tried to get himself into man. I did a video on this, you can see that. The offspring of the woman will bruise the head of the offspring of the serpent. So the devil wanted to beat God to the chase. God wanted to become a man. The devil wanted to try to have his reproduction. He did that with the Nephilim. God's going to have a city in the Revelation. The first city was created by Cain and his sons. Now, when speaking about examples of how the devil tries to copy, he's a copycat. He tries to do what the Lord does before the Lord does it spiritually and in the right way. So I was saying how the New Jerusalem could be a portal. So of course the devil's going to try to copy the Lord before the Lord gets his portal in after the 1,000 years. The devil always tries to do it quicker and faster, but it's always faulted and not, it's not right. So if you look at CERN, someone showed me this recently, how CERN, they have the god of chaos, the Indian god, I think it's Shiva or one of them, outside of CERN. And I didn't even watch the ceremony. Another guy told me when I mentioned that to me, he's like, oh yeah, you should have saw the ceremony, how evil it was. And from what I've heard, people, whether it's conspiracy or what, that CERN is being used as a portal. They're trying to create a portal to other dimensions, and even some people are saying to hell, So in the end times, we do see that the abyss is opened up, and things come out of it in the end times. So could this be CERN is trying to be, maybe the Lord is showing, maybe Revelation, these prophecies are showing us that it's man's doing that, that these evil forces are released from the pit or the abyss or wherever through these fake portals, these, how should I say it, false portals, inadequate portals. So the devil's always trying to copy in the temporary realm. He can't create the spiritual, and the spiritual realm takes a lot longer to fulfill what God's trying to create, something that's real and solid and true and everlasting, whereas the devil creates things that are temporary, fallen, they're temporary, they're not adequate, they're always inadequate in what it does, and it's always perverse and just not right, whereas God creates things that are perfect. So in time, God's been creating his city, his holy city, which is God and mingled with man. We are the tabernacle of God on earth today, and the church is going to be that expression, the bride, eventually that will be the city. And when people see that come to that city, they're coming to heaven. To me, that's why I feel like, because we are going to be in the heavens, we are also going to be on the earth. That New Jerusalem is going to be in the heavens and on the earth. Just like right now, the temple is in the heavens. Moses got the blueprints for the tabernacle in the heavens. That's what Hebrews says, that there was a blueprint that God gave Moses. It's already there in heaven, because there is no time and space. It's already in God in eternity. We're already celebrating in the New Jerusalem. God's already there. So in that sense, the New Jerusalem's in heaven, but then why in Revelation does it come down to earth? So that's why I feel like you can't distinguish heaven and earth when it comes to us and God, because we are in heaven and we are on earth. That's the reality. But when the new heaven and new earth comes, it's going to become a real manifestation of that you'll see heaven on earth. How can all those Christians fit in that small location from time and space, all those different Christians and believers? Because I do believe that it's a portal. You enter in, there's dimensions on the earth dimensions, but when you enter in, we will be in there. We're in heaven too, and we're in eternity. There's no time and space. So once we get to that New Jerusalem, time and space is over, and we are going to be living in all times and all space in that New Jerusalem. It's a portal. That's the only way I can describe it. That's what I was thinking, because just by thinking, the more I'm thinking of our relationship with the Lord, the New Jerusalem. And I think it will be physical, because we are part physical. That we're not going to get rid of we are going to get rid of the fleshly fallen bodies, but we're going to be given a new body. So in that sense, we'll have to live somewhere. Are we going to have mansions and all this? I don't know. I'm not even worried about a mansion. I know some people want their mansions because that's something here on the earth that you can show off your it's for showing off. You only need so many rooms. You don't need mansions are just to show off your to me, your human showing off, self-glory, So if we do have mansions, it'll be more related to helping people, taking care of people, maybe. I'm not sure, but it'll be solely, strictly for God's will and God's plan. It won't have anything to do with our glory. I mean, to me, maybe it will have something to do with how we follow the Lord today and how we serve Him potentially. But I don't feel like in that it won't be more like that. We have big homes, but it'll be more like the glory that came with that possession or whatever the Lord has for us, that we paid a price in this life, and we sacrificed and we gained Christ, and then because of that will maybe be a reward expression. So people will see that house and be like, wow, that person really loved the Lord. They won't be like, oh, he had a big house, ooh, I'm jealous. No, it'll be like, wow, look at that. That's glory. That home expresses how much he loved and sacrificed for the Lord. The gold roads, I think gold roads, a tree of life, physical. I think, why can't it be physical? Because the Lord created this earth with Adam and Eve in it, and with a garden, and that's where we were supposed to be until they fell. So in that sense, why would we not have a real garden, a beautiful garden? And in the New Jerusalem, it'll go beyond time and space. So some people have mentioned they went to heaven. I'm not really sure, but mentioned things like they could smell the music, they can smell the notes. The notes moved and and you can smell the music and things like that. Your senses are going to be heightened, and you'll be able to see and experience things that are limited in this earth because of the fall of man. So with all that, my point is the New Jerusalem going to be a portal on earth, so that whoever's outside the New Jerusalem, they will look and see. And remember, we're going to be ruling priests and priests with the Lord. So who are we going to? Kings and priests. We're going to be kings and priests with the Lord, co-reigning, co-kings with Him, those who overcome. Who are we going to be ruling over, right? So there has to be nations and different ones, whether the fallen creatures from the past will be restored. I don't know. Animals, is the Lord going to create new species at that point that we can help teach to love the Lord and to worship God properly? Who knows? But that New Jerusalem is going to be a representation of God on earth. He created us in His likeness and His image, and He said, have dominion and authority. And now we can do that because we've been restored. We have the image and likeness. That'll be restored with our new body all the way, and we have God's nature, so we can have His authority because we have His life in us, leading us how to be a proper child of God. And dominion. So it was an instinct. He made that in us to be co-kings with Him. If we abide in Him and follow Him and grow, let Him grow in us to the point where He can give us those directions, and we just instinctively will know how to be a co-king with Christ through His nature that's in us. But that comes through growth. That comes through self-sacrificing today and laying down our soul life so that we can gain it back in the Spirit, transformed and conformed into His image, and then sharing that glory with Him. So I'll leave it at that, but that's all I want to share. For now, I'm going to do some more research, but is the New Jerusalem going to be a portal of heaven? It's going to be an expression of God on earth, of heaven on earth, a place where people can come in. I don't know if anyone can come in or out. They might be able to, but it's going to be heaven on earth, I believe, and it's a portal. It'll be on earth, but it's also going to be in heaven at the exact same time. And so you enter into the New Jerusalem, especially us living there, it's going to be all time and space within there, because heaven is, I don't know how large heaven is. So in that sense, it's going to be inexhaustible, but it's a small in time on the earth. There's dimensions to it, and there's a certain a certain structure to it. So okay, I'll stop there. Thanks for tuning in. Hope that helped. Be sure to subscribe, share this with anyone you think might be interested or like it, and be sure to tune in the next videos. Thanks for watching Ben Samulak TV. Have a blessed day. Bye.